How are you guys doing? Today is Sunday, January 30th, 2022. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to preview the conference championship round for the 2022 NFL playoffs, as what was originally a 32-team league has now shrunk down to 4 teams that are competing for Super Bowl 56, as all of these teams have proven that they've had what it takes to necessarily get here. There were 8 teams that were in the divisional round, and there were 4 games, and the 4 winners of those games are still alive right now. And I'm going to preview both of the games that are going to take place today, as at the end of today, there are only going to be 2 teams left competing for the title for the 2021 regular season for the NFL. Taking a look at the AFC Championship game that's going to be at 3 o'clock is going to feature the Cincinnati Bengals playing against the defending AFC champs, the Kansas City Chiefs. The Cincinnati Bengals would make it here after finishing with a 10-7 record. They finished with the best record in the AFC North, half a game better than the Pittsburgh Steelers had this, because the Steelers had ended up tying with the Detroit Lions. This would be a season which saw Joe Burrow ascend to what would be to an amazing level this season, as well as Jamar Chase being a rookie player who would become an all-star or a Pro Bowler as well. Not to mention that they saw their defense and offensive line picking up around as well. Once they made it into the playoffs, they would clinch the 4th seed, so they would play their first playoff game at home against the Las Vegas Raiders. After the Raiders opened the first game with a field goal, Joe Burrow would throw a 7-yard touchdown pass to open scoring to C.J. Uzomah, and then they would end the first quarter with an Evan McPherson field goal. The second quarter would consist of a field goal from McPherson and a touchdown from Burrow to Tyler Boyd. They were up 20-13 at the half. A lone field goal in the third quarter put the Bengals up by 10 going into the fourth quarter. And then the Raiders kicked a field goal. The Bengals kicked their only field goal the fourth quarter to put them up by 10. And then after that, the Raiders could only kick a field goal to put them down 26-19 as the Bengals escaped with their lone home game of the playoffs being a win. And of course, this is the first time that they had won a playoff game since 1988. So this is a very big moment for the Bengals franchise. Once the Bengals made it through the divisional round, they would face off against the Tennessee Titans after the Titans had gotten the first round bye in the divisional round. The Cincinnati Bengals would go on to win their game against the Tennessee Titans 19-6 last week, as the Bengals would kick 2 field goals in the first quarter to put them up 6-0 as Evan McPherson was doing what he needed. After the Titans scored a touchdown and McPherson kicked a field goal in the second quarter, the Bengals were still up 9-6 going into the second half. Joe Mixon's 16-yard touchdown run would be the only touchdown that the Bengals scored all day. After that, the Titans scored a field goal and a touchdown to tie the game up going into the fourth quarter. It would go all the way to the last play, as the game-winning play would be a 52-yard field goal from Evan McPherson, as that field goal is that field goal alongside the other scoring plays is the reason that the Cincinnati Bengals were able to squeak past the number 1 team from the AFC regular season to make it into the AFC Championship, where they will face off against a Cincinnati Chiefs team that was able to make it there after winning their playoff games as well. The Kansas City Chiefs would finish their regular season with a 12-5 record, as they tied with the Tennessee Titans for the best record in the AFC. Patrick Mahomes would put down yet another virtuoso season, as he helped the Chiefs come from behind after their start wasn't as hot to the season as they would expect. Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, of course, put together amazing seasons on the offensive side, not to mention their elite players on the defensive side as well, as they have been able to come together as a unit and bounce back despite what a lot of people have been saying about them at a certain point in the regular season. Nonetheless, they finished with this record. Going into the playoffs, they would get home field advantage versus the 7-seed Pittsburgh Steelers. In this matchup, they would beat the Steelers 42-21 after the Steelers scored their first touchdown on the game off of a fumble return by T.J. Watt. Patrick Mahomes would throw a 4-yard touchdown pass to Jerick McKinnon to tie the game, or to at least tie the game up. With 2 minutes left, Mahomes threw a 12-yard touchdown pass to Byron Pringle, and then with 13 seconds left, he threw a 48-yard touchdown pass to Travis Kelce to make it 21-7 by halftime. They opened up the third quarter with a 1-yard touchdown pass to the lineman Nick Allegretti, and then he would throw throw a 31-yard touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill as the Chiefs scored 5 unanswered touchdowns to put themselves up by 2 touchdowns. The Chiefs scored their second touchdown, after the Steelers scored their second touchdown, the Chiefs would see Travis Kelce throw a 2-yard touchdown pass to Byron Pringle. That was Travis Kelce's first playoff touchdown pass, I believe. And then the Steelers would score their last touchdown of the game as the Chiefs would end it with a 3-touchdown win. And following this wild card win, they went into the divisional round with the home field advantage versus the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills came into this matchup with the 3rd seed, and coming off of their win in the wild card, the Chiefs and the Bills would go down to be one of the greatest playoff games that was ever played. After the Bills opened up the scoring in the first quarter, Patrick Mahomes would run it in from 8 yards out to tie it up at 7. The Chiefs would open up the second quarter with scoring after Mahomes threw a 2-yard touchdown pass to Byron Pringle, and then the Bills would tie it up before they went into the half. The Chiefs would open up the third quarter with a 39-yard field goal as they went up by 3, and then Mecole Hardman would run it in from 25 yards out. They would miss the PAT, so the Chiefs would be up 23-14. The Bills would score a touchdown to end the third quarter, a 75-yard touchdown pass from Josh Allen to Gabriel Davis. Gabriel Davis's second touchdown of the day, making it 23-21. In the fourth quarter, Harrison Butker would kick a 3-yard field goal to put them up, and then Josh Allen would throw a 27-yard touchdown pass to Gabriel Davis, and then a 2-point conversion to Stephon Diggs to put the Bills up by 3. With a minute left, Tyreek Hill threw a 64-yard Patrick Mahomes threw a 64-yard touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill to put the Chiefs back up 33-29. The Bills scored a touchdown with 13 seconds left as Josh Allen threw a 19-yard touchdown pass to Gabriel Davis. The Chiefs would drive down the field and then in 13 seconds and tie the game up with a 49-yard field goal from Harrison Butker. And then in overtime on the first drive, Patrick Mahomes would throw an 8-yard touchdown pass to Travis Kelce. As just like the Bengals, the Kansas City Chiefs would make it here basically on the last play of the game. And this will be the second time that these two teams will face off this year. The Bengals had faced off against the Kansas City Chiefs all the way back in week 17 for their 16th games, as the Bengals beat the Chiefs 34-31 after the Chiefs held a 28-14 lead in the second quarter with about 2 minutes left. Just to get a sense of how these two teams have gotten a sense of each other. And if I were to guess how this game is going to go, I would guess that the Chiefs win it by a very close margin, but I would not rule the Bengals out at all. I think that this is a very well-coached team and a very good unit, and I think the Chiefs can very well make a couple mistakes that could be their undoing. Taking a look at the second game that's going to be taking place today, the LA Rams are going to be hosting the San Francisco 49ers, as both of these teams are coming out of the NFC West. Taking a look at how the San Francisco 49ers got here, the 49ers entered the playoffs as the 6th seed. They finished with the 3rd best record in the NFC West, as they finished with one less win than the Arizona Cardinals as well. The San Francisco 49ers, their season would be pretty solid, as they would see Deebo Samuel rise to stardom, as he would be named an All-Pro wide receiver for the very first time in his NFL career. And once they made the playoffs, they would face off against the Dallas Cowboys on the road, as they're the only team in this round that has played every single one of their games on the road. The 49ers would beat the Dallas Cowboys in the Jerry Jones Dome 23-17. Taking a look at how the scoring went there, Elijah Mitchell will score a 4-yard touchdown run, and then a field goal from Robbie Gould will put the Niners up they'll put them up 10-0 at the end of the first quarter. The Niners opened the second quarter with a field goal, and after Dallas's touchdown, they kicked another field goal, so they went into halftime up 16-7. Their last touchdown will be a 26-yard touchdown run by Deebo Samuel to put them up 23-7. The Cowboys would kick a field goal and score a touchdown run from Dak Prescott to put themselves down by 6, but they wouldn't have enough more to score once again on that 49ers defense. Following that win, the 49ers would advance to the next round, and because they had the worst record they had the lowest seeding out of all of the NFC teams to make it. They were the only road team to win in the wild card. They would have to face off against the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau against a very hot team led by Aaron Rodgers, who was coming off an amazing season to follow up his MVP season from last year. But in this game, the Packers would open up the scoring as A.J. Dillon scored a 6-yard touchdown run. There would be no scoring until the third quarter, as in the Packers were up for a majority of this game. Robbie Gould kicked a 29-yard field goal to put the Niners down 7-3. The Packers would increase their lead to 10-3 as Mason Crosby kicked a 33-yard field goal. With about 4.5 minutes left, as the Packers were up 10-3, they were pinned deep into their own territory. The Niners special teams would block a punt, and Talona Hafunga would return the punt 6 yards for a touchdown to tie the game. And then the Niners would get a chance with the ball back, drive the ball down the field, and kick a 45-yard field goal to upset the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau, and what very possibly could have been Aaron Rodgers' last football game for the Green Bay Packers. So that is how the San Francisco 49ers would make it here, as they, alongside the Bengals and the Kansas City Chiefs, would make it to this round on the very final play of the game. This one by breaking a tie, this one more so like how the Bengals got here. And taking a look at how the Los Angeles Rams got here, the LA Rams would enter the playoffs with the 4th seed in the NFC after they won the NFC West. They are one of 3 teams in their division to make the playoffs and one of 2 teams in their division to make the NFC Championship game. So for their first matchup, they would have to knock off the other NFC West team in the very first round of the wild card. They would have to face off against the Arizona Cardinals in Los Angeles. They would open up the scoring with a 4-yard touchdown pass from Matt Stafford to Odell Beckham Jr. The second quarter consisted of a Matt Stafford touchdown run and a David Long 3-yard pick six as Kyler Murray was getting sacked in the end zone. The Rams were up 21-0 going into halftime. They opened up the third quarter with a 7-yard touchdown pass from Matt Stafford to their elite wide receiver Cooper Kupp, putting them up 28-0 right before the Cardinals scored their first touchdown and 2-point conversion of the game. The fourth quarter consisted of a field goal from both teams as the Rams kicked 2 field goals. The Rams would win this game 34-11 by 23 points, which would easily earn them their ticket into the NFC divisional round, where they would face off against the defending Super Bowl champs, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa Bay, as Tampa Bay finished with 1 win more than the Rams this season. So in this game against the defending Super Bowl MVP, Tom Brady, in what would be Tom Brady's final football game, or arguably final football game, the Los Angeles Rams would open up the scoring with a 26-yard field goal from Matt Gay, and then Matt Stafford threw a 7-yard touchdown pass to Kendall Blanton. The Buccaneers would kick a field goal, so at the end of the first quarter, the Rams were up 10-3. In the second quarter, Matt Stafford would throw a 70-yard touchdown pass to Cooper Kupp to put the Rams up 17-3, and then a field goal put them up 20-3 at the half. They opened up the third quarter with a 1-yard touchdown run from Matt Stafford to put the Rams up 27-3 at one point. Remember, they were up by 24 points at a second. The Buccaneers would kick a field goal, and then Leonard Fournette would get a touchdown to shorten their deficit to 14 as they were down 27-13. The Buccaneers, with 3 minutes left, would see Tom Brady throw a 55-yard touchdown pass to Mike Evans to shorten their deficit to 7. Leonard Fournette would score a 9-yard touchdown run to shorten their deficit, or to tie the game up at 27, as the Buccaneers scored 24 unanswered points in a matter of just over a quarter, and then Fournette scored this touchdown run to tie the game with about 42 seconds left. The Rams would drive down the field in 42 seconds just to kick a 30-yard field goal from Matt Gay and win them the game and earn them their ticket as they have made it to the NFC Championship game. So now that all these divisional matchups have concluded, and I guess going on, I do think that the Rams are going to beat the 49ers in this next matchup because I think their offense and defense are slightly better. But it'll be very interesting to see how these games line up. And with that said, I really do hope all is well, and I will catch you all with a preview of the Super Bowl as soon as these 2 matchups are concluded. With that said, I hope all is well, and I'll catch you with an episode tomorrow for all of today's episodes. With that said, thanks for listening. And I want to thank the NFL and ESPN websites for giving me all the stats and the figures. And I apologize if I butcher any names, because I do plan on getting them right. Thanks for listening. I hope all is well, and I'll catch you with more tomorrow. Peace out.